At my engagement party, my girlfriend's parents demanded a bride price of 1 million yuan. My family, without a second thought, immediately transferred the money. For her, I had even forsaken inheriting the family business, resolutely venturing to her remote hometown in the mountains. I never imagined that on my very first day in the mountains, I would be dragged by the villagers to attend my girlfriend's wedding to her childhood sweetheart. Across 66 tables laden with wedding feast delicacies, she and her childhood friend raised their intertwined cups in a toast, cheered on by the crowd. Instead of disrupting the wedding, I presented a red envelope, wishing you both a lifetime of happiness together. Chris Miller. Ashley Huang's smile froze, her eyes wide with surprise as she stared at me in the guest seating area. The wine glass in her hand slipped and shattered on the floor. Ashley, are you all right? Sean Zhao followed her gaze to me, deliberately leaning in closer to her. Across the sea of people, I saw my fiancé, dressed in vibrant red, and the man beside her, beaming with joy, the very picture of a newlywed couple. My heart felt squeezed by a giant hand, the pain so intense I could barely breathe. I lowered my head, desperately fighting back the tears, and dragged my heavy feet towards them. Ashley immediately broke free from Sean's embrace. Before I could even utter a word, she snatched the 600 yuan red envelope from my hand with surprising force. She hefted it twice, then rolled her eyes at me, a dramatic gesture. You came all this way and you only give this much? So stingy. You didn't even tell me you were coming. If I'd known, I would have postponed the wedding by a couple of days. Maybe you could have helped out. What are you standing there for? Do you have eyes? Find a place to sit yourself. There are so many villagers here. Do you think Sean and I have time to take care of you? I never expected that. Even now, she would still be blaming me. Ashley and I had been dating for 5 years, ever since we met in university. She came from a remote, mountainous area in the northwest, while my family lived in a bustling first-tier city. After graduation, I successfully proposed to her. Following the customs of her hometown, I had wired 1 million yuan to her parents as the bride price. But later, Ashley, ignoring my pleas, insisted on returning to her hometown to develop her career. Not wanting long distance to become an obstacle to our relationship, I gave up the chance to inherit the family business and traveled thousands of miles to her hometown, ready to throw myself into the local development projects. I had planned to surprise Ashley, but I never expected that as soon as I stepped into this small mountain village, I would be pulled by the local villagers to attend her grand wedding, 66 tables in all, to her childhood friend. I took a sharp breath, trying to suppress the lump in my throat. Wishing you both a lifetime of happiness together. Perhaps thinking I would, as I always had before, grovel and try to appease her, Ashley's temper suddenly flared. Chris, who are you being sarcastic with? Do you want Sean's groomsmen to teach you a lesson? So many villagers are watching. You better not make a scene. This is just a fake wedding. I have my reasons. I'll explain it to you later. Go to the last table and wait for me. I'll come over after I finish toasting the villagers. Sean smoothly wrapped his arm around her waist from behind, shooting me a provocative, triumphant look. I stared fixedly at Ashley toasting the guests. She and Sean were shoulder to shoulder, so close, their gazes filled with a tenderness I had never experienced from her. At that moment, I felt like a self-deprecating clown, traveling thousands of miles to this godforsaken mountain village, only to witness how loving my fiancé was with another man. A group of elderly men and women at the table exchanged glances, unable to resist gossiping. Young man, do you know our Ashley? I sat down dejectedly, silently downing half a bottle of liquor. Yes, we were in a relationship. It's over now. From the very beginning of my relationship with Ashley, I had heard the name Sean Zhao from her. Sean is my childhood friend. He's always been like a brother to me, ever since we were little. That jacket of yours looks really warm. I'm going to buy one for Sean, too. By the way, you'll have to spend Valentine's Day alone. Sean and I are going on a trip. Sean said he'll never marry anyone but me. Isn't he silly, still remembering the jokes we made playing house as kids? Sean. Whenever she mentioned Sean, I felt an unbearable discomfort. How could any platonic opposite-sex friends be closer than lovers? But every time I expressed my dissatisfaction to Ashley, she would always use the same rhetoric to brush me off. Sean and I are just childhood friends. It's not as dirty as you think. Do you really think I'm the kind of woman who would cheat on you? Chris, others may not believe me, but don't you even trust me? When she got emotional, she would even cry, feigning hurt. Because I cared for Ashley, I had to compromise, swallowing my pride and resentment time and time again. Now, looking back, those were clearly crocodile tears. From the very beginning, in Ashley's heart, Sean's position far surpassed mine. It's just unfortunate that I only realized this tragic fact now. Before all the dishes were even served, I grabbed my suitcase and left the wedding reception. This place was so remote and desolate. Forget about a hotel. There wasn't even a small guest house in sight. With no other choice, I had to walk 8 kilometers before I finally found a small bed and breakfast. Just as I checked in, it started to rain. The roof of the simple house had an inconspicuous leak, soaking most of my luggage. In the midst of my misery, Ashley sent me a message, unhurried and unconcerned. "Where did you run off to?" I ignored her and instead opened the unread messages in my family group chat. "Mom, son, have you arrived at Ashley's place? Was the journey tiring? Dad, if you run into any trouble, just tell your mom and me. Don't be shy. Mom, no matter where you are, your dad and I are always your strongest support." My nose stung, and tears streamed down my face uncontrollably. During our 5 years of dating, my love for Ashley was known to everyone. Everyone who knew us praised me as a model boyfriend. Because of this, my parents went out of their way to please Ashley's family at the engagement party. They not only gave the 1 million yuan bride price her family requested on the spot, but they also promised to notarize 3 properties in a first-tier city to Ashley. If they knew that Ashley was holding a wedding ceremony with another man in her hometown, I didn't know how heartbroken they would be. Suddenly, a commotion erupted outside the door. "Chris, where are you hiding? Get out here." I opened the door to find Ashley shoving the owner of the bed and breakfast. Seeing me emerge, she pointed at my nose and started yelling. "Are you deaf? Why did you run off alone? Didn't I tell you to wait for me?" My voice was hoarse. I took a 2-day, 2-night hard-seat train and a 12-hour bus ride. I'm exhausted and have no strength left. I just wanted to find a bed to lie down. Ashley's expression softened slightly, and her tone became a bit gentler. "Come out first. Let's find a place where we can talk. I'll tell you what's going on." After a moment of hesitation, I agreed. After all, breaking up after an engagement required a serious, face-to-face conversation. And I wanted to hear what reasons Ashley had for hiding this wedding from me, her fiancé, and returning home to marry another man. The moment I stepped out the door, I came face-to-face with Sean. In a clearing in the small courtyard of the bed and breakfast, Ashley helped Sean sit down carefully, then sighed heavily. Sean's grandfather is seriously ill. He probably doesn't have much time left. The old man's dying wish is to see Sean and me hold a lively wedding ceremony here in our hometown. Grandpa has watched me grow up since I was little. I couldn't bear to see him pass away with regrets, so I agreed to hold a fake wedding with 66 tables with Sean. Don't misunderstand. Sean and I have always been just childhood friends. There's absolutely no romantic relationship between us. You know, even the village fortune teller said that holding a wedding to celebrate would improve Sean's grandfather's condition. If you were me, you would have done the same, right? Sean, no longer exhibiting the arrogance he showed earlier, feigned sincerity. "Yeah, Chris, Ashley and I are just putting on a show. Just bear with it for a while. Once Grandpa's wish is fulfilled, I'll give her back to you." I suddenly remembered that at the wedding, besides the two getting married, there was an old man weaving through the tables, accepting the villagers' blessings. He looked remarkably like Sean. It was clear that this was a joint effort by the grandfather and grandson to welcome the granddaughter-in-law. It was just that Ashley pretended not to see it. I said coldly, "No need. Stop this charade." Before I could finish, Ashley slapped me hard across the face. "Chris, are you done? Are you pushing your luck? Sean came here personally to explain it to you. What are you still dissatisfied with? Do you know, just because he was worried you would misunderstand us, Sean almost sprained his ankle on the way here to find you. And you're being so aggressive, wasting Sean's sincere intentions." Sean, who had been sitting perfectly still just a moment ago, suddenly grimaced, lifting his ankle and crying out in pain. I woojooed half of my face, watching Ashley's eyes filled with concern for Sean, and remembered her attitude when I broke my leg. 2 months ago, I was hit by an electric scooter that ran a red light while I was crossing the street. I accidentally broke my left leg and was in excruciating pain. But when I was taken to the hospital by ambulance and called Ashley to tell her what happened, her first reaction was, "Chris, ask your parents to take care of you first. I'm busy packing my bags to go home. I'll come to the hospital to see you after I'm done." Until I was discharged from the hospital a month later, Ashley never once came to visit me. I thought she was homesick and eager to reunite with her family, so she unintentionally neglected me. Now, it seemed more likely that she was busy preparing for her wedding to Sean back home. Perhaps this absurd relationship should have ended long ago. Ashley, I'm serious. Since you've already had a wedding ceremony with him, then we have nothing more to do with each other. Otherwise, if the villagers find out later, I'll be seen as the third party who ruined your relationship. As for the bride price at the engagement party, I hope your family will return it in full. The color drained from Ashley's face. Chris, are you really? Sean erupted in anger, kicking over my wooden stool, seemingly forgetting that he was pretending to have a sprained ankle just a moment ago. Pa, I hate how calculating you city people are. Your family must have realized that this marriage was almost happening, and you didn't want to waste that bride price, so you sent this guy to get the money back. Otherwise, why would a city boy like you come to our mountain village? My hip bone slammed against the leg of the stool, and I fell to the ground in a heap. He slowly leaned down, his eyes filled with malice, and gritted his teeth. Did you think that just because you were engaged, your family could step all over Ashley? Let me tell you, with Sean Zhao here today, no one is allowed to bully Ashley. Don't think that just because we're poor in this mountain village, we have to put up with your city people's arrogance. Ashley, seeing the situation, seemed to have a sudden realization and shook her head. I understand now. Even if I didn't marry Sean today, you would have found a way to get the bride price back. Chris, you're so disappointing. I never thought your family was so materialistic. Have you lost your conscience? I was blind to waste 5 whole years on someone like you. She was clearly the one who broke the engagement, yet she was turning the tables on me. I didn't bother arguing with them. Enduring the pain, I stood up and limped back inside. If your family doesn't return the bride price, I will take you to court. I had made up my mind. After enduring this night, I would leave this agonizing place without looking back. At 5:30 a.m., as the sky began to lighten, a group of villagers burst into the bed and breakfast, kicking down the door. I was lying in bed, startled awake. Who is it? Sean, leading the group, waved his hand, and 2 or 3 burly men rushed forward, forcing me to my knees. Having witnessed the aggressive nature of the local villagers, and fearing further trouble, I desperately suppressed my anger, forcing myself to calm down. What do you want? Sean squatted down and spat in my face with disdain. Nothing much, just asking for a little help from the city boy. I looked up. Ashley slowly emerged from the crowd, looking down at me condescendingly. Chris, you can break up with me, but I'm a respectable young woman. If word got out that I was forcibly dumped by my fiancé, I'd be the laughingstock of the village. I've thought about it. Your family is the one who wronged me first. The bride price will be considered compensation for all these years. I understood her meaning. So, in order to keep the 1 million yuan bride price for yourself, you called a bunch of villagers to threaten me? Her eyes reddened, and she choked out. You're the one who doesn't want me anymore. Just then, one of the men beside me unexpectedly punched me in the stomach. How dare you talk to our sister-in-law like that? I saw stars, the pain making me turn pale. Sean's voice echoed in my ears. Watch your mouth. What do you mean by threaten? We're just having a calm discussion with you. Otherwise, our fists would have already landed on your delicate little face, young master. Ashley said magnanimously. Chris, we were together for 5 years, after all. I know you're angry, so I won't hold your rudeness against you. Here's an agreement. Sign it and put your fingerprint on it, and this whole thing will be over. Ashley handed me a voluntary gift agreement. I stared at it, the words written clearly in black and white. Chris Miller voluntarily gifts 1 million yuan in premarital bride price to Ashley Huang. Both parties, on the basis of equality and voluntariness, have reached the following agreement. I gasped, protesting, what if I don't sign? Sean, as if he had anticipated my reaction, signaled for someone to open my suitcase and start rummaging through it. A sense of foreboding rose within me. I shouted hoarsely, stop! Don't touch the things in my bag. Suddenly, he lit up, pulling out a jade pendant and waving it in front of my face. Young master, do you remember this jade pendant? I heard Ashley mention that this jade pendant was the only thing your beloved grandmother left you. You carry it with you wherever you go. Looking at Sean's sinister smile, I begged humbly. No, please, don't. He lifted the jade pendant high and smashed it to the ground. The only memento that carried my memories of my grandmother was instantly shattered to pieces. My heart felt like it was being subjected to a slow, agonizing death, cut by 1,000 knives. After smashing the jade pendant, Sean grabbed my collar. Chris, these brothers of mine aren't vegetarians. If you don't want to end up like this jade pendant, you'd better sign this and put your fingerprint on it. Ashley chimed in, her voice indifferent. Chris, just sign it. Your family doesn't need this little bit of money anyway. You can always earn it back later. My heart sank. I said weakly, I'll sign. After I signed and put my fingerprint on the agreement, the two of them embraced, their faces beaming with delight. That's great, Sean. Your idea worked perfectly. You brat, at least you know what's good for you. Get out of our village and don't ever let me see you again. After they and the villagers left, I struggled to climb back into bed and dialed a number. Dad, send someone to pick me up from the mountains. When a dozen helicopters landed in the mountain village, it drew the attention of countless villagers. Did some big shot come to our village? I've lived for 70 years, and I've never seen such a grand spectacle. Come on, not even the young people from our own village want to stay in this desolate place. That's right. In recent years, all the promising young men and women have run as far away as they can. Who would want to come to this dump? Amidst the villagers' chatter, I was escorted by 20 or so sturdy bodyguards and seated safely in the co-pilot seat of a helicopter. Thinking that I could finally leave this place, I breathed a sigh of relief. Okay, let's go. The next second, Ashley's figure burst out, her face red, and she pointed at me accusingly. Chris, you're despicable. We were in a relationship for 5 years, and you never once told me that your family was so wealthy that you could summon helicopters at will. Indeed, my upbringing had taught me not to flaunt my family's assets to others. That's why Ashley had treated the priceless custom-made jewelry and antiques I had given her as a pile of junk. I had no desire to argue. Ashley, my affairs are no longer any of your concern. Ashley trembled, tears welling up in her eyes, the same innocent look she had when she forced me to sign the agreement, as if she were the one who had been wronged. How is it none of my concern? This is blatant deception. I frowned. What did I deceive you about? Ashley sobbed. The custom in our hometown is that the bride price is determined by the groom's family's assets. You concealed your family's financial situation from me, causing our family to underestimate the bride price. Isn't that deceiving my feelings? My heart was completely calm, even finding the situation somewhat laughable. For the first time in 5 years, I realized I had never truly understood Ashley. Fortunately, it wasn't too late to wake up. Not wanting to get tangled up with her any further, I raised my hand, signaling to the bodyguards. Ignore her. Everyone, get on board. Ashley, refusing to give up, chased after us. Chris, you heartless jerk. Don't run. As the bodyguards boarded the helicopters, Sean finally appeared, slowly, and grabbed Ashley's arm. All right, Ashley, don't be angry. Consider that guy lucky this time. He had a lot of people with him. We couldn't fight them. He feebly pointed at the helicopter I was in, cleared his throat, and tried to sound tough, though his voice lacked conviction. Listen up, Chris. We're letting you off the hook this time, but you'd better not show your face around here again, or else I'll beat you up every time I see you. Before he could finish, the sound of the rotor blades starting up drowned out his voice. Looking at the vast sky, I breathed in the long-lost air of freedom. After arriving home safely, I told my parents everything that had happened. My parents immediately agreed with my decision to break off the engagement. Chris, your mom and I will always respect your decisions. It's okay. Consider this relationship a lesson learned, an expensive one, but our family doesn't lack that 1 million. You're still young, and you'll definitely meet someone more suitable in the future. I lowered my head. Dad, Mom, I'm sorry. I won't disappoint your expectations again. I'll dedicate myself wholeheartedly to the development and construction of the Chun Corporation. They exchanged glances, their faces revealing a gratified smile. Good son, Mom and Dad knew we weren't wrong about you. Then, my mother hesitated. But, there's something your dad and I haven't had a chance to tell you yet. I asked, puzzled, what is it? My mother covered my hand with hers and sighed. It's like this. Ashley's parents, who came to the city to work, were fired from the factory. For the past 2 days, they've been pestering your dad at his company's entrance, using your and Ashley's engagement as leverage, forcing your dad to give them both jobs. They're from the mountains, after all, uneducated and illiterate, and they're getting old. Your dad and I thought we could lend a hand, but we've looked for countless positions, and they either complain that the salary is too low or the work is too tiring. The image of Ashley's parents at the engagement party, Being demanding and throwing tantrums to demand the bride price immediately came to mind. Ashley is our family's precious jewel. Give us 1 million yuan in bride price, or this engagement is off. Transfer it to this card right now, as soon as possible. We'll wait right here. Indeed, like father, like daughter, like mother, like daughter. A leopard cannot change its spots. Ashley and her parents' selfish and despicable behavior were practically cut from the same cloth. Where are they now? They've been settled at the Felicity Grand Hotel. Stepping into the hotel room, a foul odor assaulted my nostrils. Looking at the fruit peels and disposable meal boxes scattered across the floor, I couldn't help but frown. Ashley's mother, squatting by the bed picking at her feet, caught sight of me out of the corner of her eye and greeted me with a beaming smile. "Oh, it's our good son-in-law. Come in, have a seat." I instinctively took a step back, but accidentally bumped into Ashley's father, who was just coming out of the bathroom, pulling up his pants. "Coming to see your father-in-law, and you don't even bring a gift? Ungrateful brat." Ashley's mother, in stark contrast to her imperious attitude at the engagement party, put on a fawning smile and affectionately pulled me to sit on the sofa. "Why are you talking to the child like that? He's the only son of the Chin family. Chris, you're engaged to Ashley, and you didn't even reveal your family's true financial situation. It was only after your dad and I made many inquiries that we found your dad's company." I moved to a chair further away from her, my tone indifferent. It wasn't necessary. My marriage and my family background are two separate matters. Ashley's father, threatening me with the marriage, blew his nose and glared. "Let me tell you, if you want to marry our Ashley, add another 5 million yuan to the bride price. With the assets of the Chin Group, a mere 1 million is an insult. And what about my and your mother-in-law's jobs? I won't make it difficult for you. If you can't find suitable positions, just give us 20,000 yuan a month each." The Chin Group doesn't lack that little bit of money. It seemed they were still unaware of Ashley's wedding to Sean. I sneered. "I advise you to give up on this idea." Ashley's father slammed his fist on the table in anger. "What do you mean? Are you ignoring what I said? Do you want Ashley to break off the engagement right now?" I glanced at my watch, stood up, and straightened my collar. Ashley and Sean Zhao held a wedding ceremony with 66 tables in their hometown. I've already broken off the engagement with her. Ashley's parents, of course, refused to believe that their usually obedient daughter had done such a thing behind their backs. "No, it's impossible. Stop talking nonsense." "That's right, Chris. You can't just say things like that," I said impassively. "If you don't believe me, you can ask her yourselves." Ashley's mother looked at Ashley's father. He leaned against the wall and slowly sat down, trembling as he took out his phone and turned on the speakerphone. "Hello, Dad." Ashley's father stammered. Did you have a wedding ceremony with Sean Zhao behind my and your mother's back?" "Dad, did Chris tell you?" "Yes, I did have a wedding with Sean. You and Mom were the ones who insisted I go to university and find a city boy, saying that city people give high bride prices. I've already earned 1 million yuan in bride price for our family. Shouldn't I be free now? I don't want a piece of paper. I want pure love. Only Sean truly understands me, comprehends me, and makes me happy. Chris only forces me to do what he wants. I don't want to live a life with no freedom." My 100% investment of money, time, and effort was apparently less valuable than Sean's sweet nothings? Her so-called forcing was, in fact, nothing more than my suggestion, after Ashley expressed her desire to be a housewife, that she cultivate a personal hobby, such as sports, yoga, flower arranging, or reading. She had misinterpreted my good intentions. The sincerity I had once poured into this relationship, I might as well have thrown it to the dogs. Let Ashley experience for herself how long her so-called pure love would last in the face of poverty. Ashley's father slapped his thigh in anger, his jaw clenched, making a grinding sound. "You damn girl, are you trying to kill me? Without Chris, how are your mother and I supposed to live?" "Dad, what are you talking about? Even though Sean and I are separated, we still have that 1 million yuan bride price. That's 1 million yuan. Enough for you and Mom to live on for the rest of your lives." He continued to roar, his withered old face flushed red. "Bride price? Do you think that 1 million yuan will last forever? I lost it all gambling underground in 2 rounds. We worked so hard to send you to school, hoping you'd fetch a good price after university. Now, the money is gone, and so is the person. You useless wench, you caused your mother to have a difficult labor and have half her fallopian tube removed so she couldn't have a son. It would have been better if we had thrown you in a well and starved you to death. Ashley was stunned for a long time. Then a sob escaped her. Dad, I did everything for our family. How could you say that to me? Chris, I know you're here. You never used to let anyone hurt me. Please, say something to my parents. Yes, in the past, I would never have allowed anyone to hurt Ashley. But now, I simply said lightly, this is your family matter. You handle it yourselves. Before leaving, I specifically informed Ashley's parents. You must move out of the hotel room by 2 p.m. this afternoon. Otherwise, you will be responsible for the room charges. Then, I answered a work call and quickly left, stepping over the garbage on the floor. Hello, Mr. Sue. I'm sorry, I'll be there soon. After I left, Ashley's father suffered a stroke due to high blood pressure. His phone slipped from his hand, and his body fell stiffly to the floor. It's over, it's all over. Ashley's mother broke down completely. Old man, what's wrong? Wake up. Someone help. Call an ambulance. Reportedly, by the time the ambulance arrived to take him away, his body was already completely cold. Under my bold reforms, the Chun Group's performance soared like a rocket within just 6 months, with daily transactions reaching tens of millions of yuan. Both competitors and partners of the Chun Group praised the young Mr. Chen's business acumen. And through the trials and tribulations of the business world, I gradually came to understand the hardships and difficulties my parents had faced over the years. After work, I sat in the back seat of the car as usual. Just as I lay down to rest my eyes, the car braked suddenly, throwing me forward. Uncle Lou, what's wrong? A middle-aged woman with a hunched back came around and started tapping on the car window, her face full of flattery. Young Mr. Chun, we waited for you downstairs at the company for a long time, but the security guards chased us away. We had no choice but to wait for you on the road. She grabbed the young woman beside her and kicked her, treating her like an animal. You ungrateful wretch. Kneel down and apologize to young Mr. Chun. I rolled down the car window and stared for a long time before I recognized them. It was Ashley and her mother. In just 6 months, she had completely transformed. She was gaunt and emaciated, her face sallow, her body covered in bruises. She no longer resembled the class beauty she once was. Speaking of which, when Ashley first started university, she was as thin as a bean sprout, malnourished, and her clothes were tattered. The other students mocked her, calling her a country bumpkin. As the class representative, I felt sorry for her, a girl from a remote mountain area, all alone. So, every day, I bought her 3 meals a day, 2 meat dishes and 2 vegetable dishes, bought her favorite fruits and snacks, and gave her comfortable and decent clothes and shoes. Gradually, under my care, Ashley blossomed, becoming more and more gentle and charming. And in our daily interactions, I fell in love with her and mustered the courage to confess my feelings. I used to think that love could overcome all obstacles, but I underestimated the greed of human nature. As the saying goes, desperate times breed desperate people. My 5 years of devotion and accommodation had resulted in Ashley's family's endless, bottomless greed. Seeing that I remained silent, Ashley's mother moved her hand to the back of Ashley's head and slammed it against the concrete pavement. You disobedient girl. I told you to marry young Mr. Sun, but you refused and insisted on marrying back into the village. Now look at you living in Shan Zhao's family's mud house, serving them like a maid, and getting beaten whenever they're not pleased. This is your retribution. Your retribution. It's all because of you that your father was angered to death, that I'm halfway to my grave, still doing the dirty work of cleaning toilets, and that you yourself are living a life worse than death. You wretch, you ruined our whole family. Now only young Mr. Chun can save you. Hurry, beg young Mr. Chun. He used to dote on you so much, he wouldn't even let you peel a fruit. Young Mr. Chun will definitely help you if he sees how miserable you are. Ashley's forehead had a bloody gash from being slammed against the ground. She stared at me numbly, tears streaming down her face like a faucet that had been turned on. Chris, I was wrong. I'm sorry. I shouldn't have had the wedding with Sean. I shouldn't have forced you to sign. Please, forgive me. I really can't live without you. Can't live without me. I think she can't live without my money. After a moment of silence, I asked, did Sean come up with this idea for you too? Ashley's pupils instantly dilated. Then she shook her head desperately, sobbing loudly. No, Chris, these are my true feelings. I'm not here to cheat you out of your money. Please believe me, okay? Enough. I won't give you another penny. I rolled up the car window and nodded to Uncle Lou to continue driving. As the car slowly drove forward, The voices of the mother and daughter were drowned out by the passing traffic. Chris, look back at me just once, Chris. Young Mr. Chun, don't go. Please give us one last chance. Through my parents' matchmaking, I met Grace Gu, the heiress of the Gu family, who had just returned from studying abroad. She was bright, generous, and understanding. Even though I was a few years older, she always took the initiative to consider my feelings. Being with her, my long-dormant heart was gradually swept clean of its darkness. After our date, I drove Grace home. Under the dim streetlights, our eyes were filled with a thick, inseparable affection. Grace, how did you like the movie tonight? I usually like suspense and mystery movies. I saw you weren't very interested in the movie theater, and I was afraid you weren't enjoying it. I loved it. I'm a movie buff. I love all kinds of movies. It's just that I didn't get enough sleep last night, and my head was a little foggy. I should be fine after a good night's sleep. I felt relieved. That's good. We'll try other types of movies together in the future. We'll take it slow. We have plenty of time. Grace gave a playful smile and gave me a quick peck on the lips. No problem, Mr. Chun. See you tomorrow. My face turned slightly red, and I stammered. See you tomorrow, Grace. On the way back home, I was still immersed in the sweetness of that moment when I inadvertently witnessed a murder on the road. A strong, bald man chased another thin man and stabbed him dozens of times. Blood splattered everywhere. I felt sorry for you, a mountain man, being bullied by those migrant workers on the construction site. So I brought you to my wife's hair salon to work. Who knew you would repay my kindness by stealing my wife? I'll teach you to steal my wife, you shameless thing. Die, die, die. Only when the bald man was subdued by the arriving police did this bloody act end. I got out of the car and unconsciously approached the thin man lying on the ground. He seemed strangely familiar. It was Sean Zhao. In his last moments, Sean's eyes were wide open, and he was coughing up large mouthfuls of blood. Chris. Because I had witnessed the entire murder, the police asked me to go to the police station to give a statement. At the police station, I saw Ashley for the last time. She looked like a typical rural woman, disheveled and timid. Perhaps because of all the farm work, her skin and hair were rough and unkempt. Ashley claimed Sean's body, then touched her slightly bulging belly and slumped to the ground, powerless. From the cleaning lady's whispers, I pieced together that after Ashley became pregnant, Sean, in order to earn money for baby formula, went to the city to work on a construction site. But because he was inexperienced, he was constantly bullied by the other migrant workers, who spat in his food, urinated on his head, and put glass shards in his shoes. Later, the construction site foreman, unable to bear watching it any longer, kindly took Sean to his wife's hair salon to work as an apprentice. But Sean, coveting his boss's wife's beauty, forced himself on her, enraging the foreman, which ultimately led to this tragedy. The cleaning ladies put down their mops and whispered to each other. I heard this girl just cremated her mother, who died of cancer 2 days ago. Now her husband has been stabbed to death. She has an old man at home who can't take care of himself, and she's pregnant with another burden. How will this single mother and orphan survive? That's right. I heard she was a top university student. I don't know what possessed her to go back to her hometown and marry an illiterate man. Marriage affects a woman's happiness for the rest of her life. One wrong step, and every step is wrong. Ashley must have noticed me. She buried her head between her legs, not wanting to appear too pathetic. She knew very well that we were now worlds apart. I walked straight to the door, brushing past Ashley without looking back at her. Driving alone in the city center, the streets at night were brightly lit, like shooting stars streaking across my life. I thought, perhaps those darkest moments in life are there to welcome a new tomorrow.